Picture this. Alarms are screaming, screens are locked, and a ransomware note just appeared on your CEO's laptop. It's pure chaos. A cyber attack isn't some far-off threat. It's a digital firestorm. So what's the difference between the companies that make it through and the ones that just crumble? Well, it's not luck, I can tell you that. It's a plan. And we're going to break down exactly what that plan looks like step by step.
So there you are. The attack is happening right now. The clock is ticking. This chaos, that's the attacker's best friend. It's designed to make you panic, to force a mistake. But this is where the pros show their worth. They don't panic. They have a playbook, and they just execute. And that professional playbook, it has a name, incident response, or IR for short. Think of it like the emergency services for your entire network. It's a methodical, structured way to wrestle back control, stop the bleeding, and get things back up and running as safely as possible.
And why is this so unbelievably important? Because the stakes are sky high. A good IR plan isn't just about fixing a few computers. It's about protecting the whole business, from your bank account to your reputation with your customers, and even making sure you stay on the right side of the law. It's the difference between a really bad day and a catastrophe that shuts you down for good.
So what does this playbook actually look like when things get real? It's a 6-step process, but here's the secret. The most important work happens long before any alarm ever goes off. Let's start with that pre-crisis blueprint.
The first, and you could argue the most critical step of all, is preparation. Preparation is basically where you build your digital fire department before there's a fire. This means actually writing down the incident response plan, getting your team together and training them, and setting up all your security alarms. And of course, having clean, secure backups ready to go. But a plan is useless if it just sits on a shelf. That's why you have to run drills. Just like a fire drill, you practice, so when the real thing happens, your response is just pure muscle memory. But look, no matter how well you prepare, an attack might still get through. And that throws us right into the chaos of the first 24 hours. The name of the game here is speed, sounding the alarm and stopping the attack from spreading. This whole phase kicks off with step 2, identification. This is all about finding that one dangerous needle in a giant haystack of digital noise. Your security tools, they generate thousands of alerts a day. The real job here is to find the one that actually matters. So the team sifts through all that noise, confirms if it's a real attack, and figures out what kind of attack it is. Then they have to slap a severity level on it. This is so important. You can't treat a minor hiccup with the same urgency as a full-blown ransomware attack that's spreading everywhere. This initial triage is key to using your resources wisely. Okay, once you've identified the threat, the clock is ticking even louder. The next priority is non-negotiable. Step 3, containment. You have to stop the bleeding, and you have to do it fast. Containment usually happens in 2 ways. The short-term stuff is like battlefield medicine. You isolate infected machines, you disable any accounts that have been compromised, you block the attacker's IP addresses, then comes the long-term reinforcement. And here's the key. You can't start patching a sinking ship. You have to plug the hole first. That's your short-term containment. Then you can reinforce the hull. The order of operations here is everything. So the situation's contained, but the fight is far from over. Now it's time to go on the offensive. It's time to completely eradicate the threat and begin the very careful process of rebuilding. This all starts with step 4, eradication. It is time to clean house. Eradication is all about being meticulous. You have to find and remove every single trace of the attacker. All the malware, any fake accounts they created, and of course, the original vulnerability they used to get in. You also have to hunt for any backdoors they might have left behind to sneak back in later. This is a painstaking process because modern malware is designed to be sneaky. It has to be a deep forensic clean. Once you are 100% certain the attacker is gone, and only then can you finally move to step 5, recovery. Now, getting back to normal isn't like flipping a switch. It's a really delicate process. This is where those clean backups you made way back in the preparation phase become your absolute lifeline. You restore your data, often rebuilding entire servers from the ground up just to be safe. And as you bring systems back online, you are watching them like a hawk for any sign of trouble before you carefully get back to business as usual. The systems are back up, everyone's breathing a huge sigh of relief. You think the work is done, right? Well, not quite. In fact, what comes next might just be the most valuable part of this entire process. This is the final, crucial step. And that is step 6, lessons learned. This is the step that turns a victim into a fortress. The source material calls this a very important but often ignored phase. And, it's easy to see why. After the stress and chaos of an attack, everybody just wants to move on and forget it ever happened. But that is a massive mistake. If you fail to learn from the incident, you're basically just inviting it to happen all over again.
This is where you do the postmortem. Your team documents everything, what went right, and maybe more importantly, what went wrong. That analysis gets turned into a detailed report that becomes your blueprint for getting stronger. You update policies, you improve your tools, you refine training, and critically, you use this report to show leadership exactly what happened and why investing in security isn't just a cost, it's essential.
So when you look at the whole process, you can see it's not really a straight line, it's a circle. You start with preparation. You react with identification, containment, eradication, and recovery. But the magic really happens in that final step, lessons learned, because all of that knowledge feeds directly back into making your next preparation phase even stronger. It's a continuous cycle of improvement, turning every crisis into a chance to build a better, tougher defense.
In the end, a crisis response plan is not just some document that sits on a shelf collecting dust. It's a living, breathing strategy that demands practice, resources, and a real commitment. The 6-step framework is out there. The real question is, when that alarm finally does go off, will you and your team be ready to actually use it?